India's Ministry of External Affairs is currently conducting a press conference in the capital of New Delhi, and the visuals that you see on your screens are from that press conference.
जो उनका मान है, जो वो जिस प्रकार का मामला बाहर जैसे उस मामले में सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जो राय है उसको माना जाएगा. Reza, on your question, whether any conversation regarding cricket happened or not, I would say nothing of that sort happened. Shall we go forward? And the reports that you saw were not accurate also. Aditya?
Mr. Jaiswal, I have two questions related. One is on TVR Network yesterday broke a story about Lawrence Bishnoi and his gang members in Canada, the details of which we believe have been shared with the Canadian side over the last 3 years. Could you please share details of how many extradition requests have gone out from India to Canada in the last 3 years, and whether there's been any positive response, because Justin Trudeau yesterday mentioned about Lawrence Bishnoi and said that we are taking action. Secondly, we've also seen attacks on journalists taking place in Canada. We've seen Rishi Nagar, a journalist, being attacked in Calgary in a Gurudwara by Khalistani radicals. We in the past have seen attacks on Sameer Kaushal and Deepak Punj as well. How do you react to these attacks on Canadian journalists of Indian origin, and what does this say about the freedom of expression in Canada? Thank you.
Okay. Ajay?
Hi, Ajay Banerjee from the Tribune. Sir, the US State Department last night issued a statement that one of the Indian government officials has been removed from service of the Indian government. Could you please clarify who the official is? Can you name? Is it the same person named as CC1 in the Department of Justice indictment?
Okay. Please.
Hi there, Salima Shivji from CBC News. So you say on the Indian side that there is no clear evidence that has been presented by Canadian authorities, but Canada's RCMP and other authorities have said that they have presented detailed evidence in meetings with top Indian officials. So how do you explain that disconnect and the wildly different stories from each side? And as well, with this entire dispute sort of being disputed in public with some bitter statements on each side, do you think that is the correct way to dial down the tensions in this relationship?
Okay. Pranay?
सर प्रणय उपाध्याय अमर उजाला से मेरे दो सवाल हैं. पहला सवाल तो इस चीज़ को लेकर है कि कनाडा के साथ में कितनी एक्सट्रेडिशन रिक्वेस्ट हमारी पेंडिंग है, और खासतौर पर हरदीप सिंह निज्जर समेत कितनी एक्सट्रेडिशन रिक्वेस्ट पेंडिंग है, उस पर अभी तक क्या रिस्पांस रहा है. दूसरा सवाल इस चीज़ को लेकर है कि 6 महीने पहले कनाडा सरकार की तरफ से कहा गया था, आरसीएमपी की तरफ से, कि 4 लोगों को गिरफ्तार किया गया है जिनकी आइडेंटिटी इंडियन बताई गई थी. क्या इन इंडियंस के लिए भारत के काउंसलेट ने कोई काउंसलर एक्सेस मांगा था? अगर मांगा था तो उनसे जानकारी में क्या हासिल हुआ है? क्या वो भारतीय नागरिक हैं?
Okay, Samira.
Samir Hussain, BBC News. Will you release the names of the diplomats that India says that they have brought back to India, the Canadian diplomats? India has released the names of the Canadian diplomats that were expelled from the country. So wondering if the same will happen. And also, to follow up on Salima's question about the several meetings that the RCMP has said that they have had, and that India has been presented with this evidence. I mean, the most recent meeting was a meeting in Singapore that is widely reported. And that meeting went on for several hours, much longer than was originally anticipated. I'm wondering what was actually discussed in that meeting if you were not presented with any evidence.
Okay. So first, Aditya, to your question on extradition request and Lawrence Bishnoi gang. So as far as my information is concerned, there are 26 extradition requests pending with the Canadian side. These are over the last decade or more. Along with it, there are several provisional arrest requests which are also pending with the Canadian side of several criminals. Some of the notable ones who've been charged with terror and related crimes, I would like to name them. They are Gurjeet Singh, Gurjinder Singh, Gurpreet Singh, Lakhbir Singh Landa, and Arshdeep Singh Gill. They are wanted in terror charges, as I told you, and also some related charges. We have shared security-related information with the Canadian government regarding gang members, including those of Lawrence Bishnoi gang, and requested them to arrest them and or to take due action as per law. So far, while we have exchanged and given these information, so far no action has been taken by the Canadian side on our request. This is very serious. Also, I would like to say that we find it really strange that now the people who we asked to be deported, on whom we asked that action be taken, we are being told that they are the ones, or RCMP is blaming Indian side that these people are committing crimes in Canada for which you are to be blamed. So this is a contradiction in terms which we don't understand. I just have here, there are several people, but for the sake of brevity, I would like to outline what I just informed you. The notable ones are Gurjeet Singh, Gurjinder Singh, Gurpreet Singh, Lakhbir Singh Landa, and Arshdeep Singh Gill. Aditya, you also had a question regarding intimidation. The Indian origin journalists who are being intimidated in Canada, and several of these instances have come to light in the recent past. I would only like to say that these are clear examples of intimidation and violence by those who openly espouse extremist and separatist ideology. It is also an example, or these are also examples of what afflicts Canada today and which reveals the sources of violence. Shifting the blame to India does not work in any manner. Ajay, you had a question regarding the US State Department informing us that the individual who was named in the Justice Department indictment is no longer an employee of the Government of India. Yes, I confirm that he's no longer an employee of the Government of India. Question on CBC. See, we have made our position very clear that serious charges have been leveled against us, but so far, as we said in a press release a few days back, and it was reiterated yet again yesterday or today morning, earlier hours this morning, so far Canada has not given any evidence in support of the serious, very serious allegations that they've leveled against India and against Indian diplomats. We also see there is a pattern. The pattern is motivated by political considerations on the part of the Canadian Trudeau government. And there is also, as we have said, there's a clear pattern to smear India for reasons best known to them. I would also like to tell you that please look at several of these statements, that it's a very detailed statements that we've released, giving exactly what our position is, why we think that these are politically motivated, and why we think that these allegations are baseless. प्रत्यर्पण को लेके मैंने बताया जैसे कि 26 एक्सट्रेडिशन केसेस पेंडिंग हैं. उन 26 के अलावे प्रोविजनल अरेस्ट की इंफॉर्मेशन जो हम लोग म्यूचुअल लीगल असिस्टेंस ट्रीटी के तहत मांगते हैं, उसमें भी कई एक सारे मामले वहाँ पर कनाडा में पेंडिंग हैं. और जैसा कि मैंने बताया कि 5 लोग, अपराधी लोग जो जिनके खिलाफ हम लोगों ने मांगा है, भगौड़े हैं, मांगा है कि इनका एक्सट्रेडिशन होना चाहिए, प्रत्यर्पण होना चाहिए. उनका नाम मैंने लिया आपके लिए: गुरजीत सिंह, गुरजिंदर सिंह, गुरप्रीत सिंह, लखबीर सिंह लंडा और अर्शदीप सिंह गिल. इसमें से वो भी लोग हैं जो ये जो गैंग्स हैं, लॉरेंस बिश्नोई गैंग हो अथवा कोई और गैंग है, उसके भी मेंबर्स इसमें शामिल हैं. जहाँ तक जो गिरफ्तारी की बात की आपने, काउंसलर एक्सेस की बात की, काउंसलर एक्सेस जैसे मैंने पहले बताया था कि हम लोगों को अभी काउंसलर एक्सेस हमने मांगा नहीं है, उनकी तरफ से रिक्वेस्ट आता है तो फिर दिया जाता है, काउंसलर एक्सेस लिया जाता है.
लगा था और उस केस में क्या हुआ था? कितनी बार हमने रिक्वेस्ट किया था हरदीप सिंह निज्जर के प्रत्यर्पण को लेकर?
हरदीप सिंह निज्जर प्रत्यर्पण वाले सूची में नहीं है, किसी और मामले में उस पर उन पे चार्जेस लगे होंगे। प्रत्यर्पण के सूची में हरदीप सिंह। Samira, your question regarding the diplomats, Indian diplomats who will be coming back from Canada. We have a High Commissioner. Along with him, there are 5 other diplomats who will be returning. The Canadian government has said that they should return by 19th of October, 11:59 p.m. For various reasons, we don't want to reveal their names to you. Also regarding the Singapore meeting, yes, the Singapore meeting, yes, had happened, and some exchanges had taken place. I don't have anything further to share about that particular meeting. Sudhi?
Sir, Sudhiranjan from Bloomberg. So adding on to Ajay's question, if you could give us an understanding as to who the Indian official, India has sacked, and can you confirm or deny? Is it, following the investigation on the thwarted, assassination attempt on Panun? Also, could you give us an understanding as to who has gone to the United States, in this regard? What is the level of officers? What is the kind of information that is being exchanged with the United States?
Siddhant.
So Siddhant from WION. During the EM's visit to Islamabad, we saw a lot of ex-foreign ministers, the foreign ministers and politicians, the ex-foreign minister Bilawal Bhutto, commenting on talks with India. They're saying that India should talk. What is the current view of the Indian government? Any plans to have conversation? Do you see the EM's visit opening a window of opportunity for talks between Pakistan and India?
Sir, KM Sharma, Bharat Express से यूएस का एक स्टेटमेंट आया है कि इंडिया शुड टेक द एलिगेशन ऑफ कनाडा वेरी सीरियसली। इसका सर क्या मतलब?
मधु।
सर मधुरेंद्र, मैं न्यूज नेशन से। मेरा भी सवाल पाकिस्तान से जुड़ा है कि EM की विजिट के दौरान क्या साइड लाइन में कोई बातचीत पाकिस्तान की किसी प्रतिनिधि से हुई? बातचीत हुई तो उसका मसला क्या था, किन मुद्दों पर बातचीत हुई, और क्या भारत और पाकिस्तान के संबंधों को वापस पटरी पर लाने की कोई पहल भारत की तरफ से की गई है? एक सवाल और मेरा जुड़ा हुआ है, लॉरेंस बिश्नोई को लेकर आपने कहा कि उनके भी दरअसल जो गैंग के गुर्गे हैं, लोग हैं, उनको लेकर भी एक्स्ट्राडिशन की मांग हमने की है। तो ये कौन है दरअसल, और किस तरह के क्रिमिनल चार्जेस उस गिरोह पर है जिसको लेकर हमने मांग की?
सर, ब्रह्म प्रकाश न्यूज इंडिया से। मेरा सवाल है कि कनाडा के प्रधानमंत्री ने जिस तरह से मीडिया में कहा है कि G20 के दौरान भारतीय प्रधानमंत्री के समक्ष उन्होंने निज्जर हत्या मामले की बात की थी, और भारतीय प्रधानमंत्री ने उनसे कहा था कि कनाडा में कुछ लोग हैं जिनको वो गिरफ्तार होते हुए देखना चाहते हैं। तो कितने लोग हैं भारत की लिस्ट में? क्या जो अभी आपने नाम बताया वही लोग हैं, जो भारतीय प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा जिनको अरेस्ट होते हुए देखना चाहते हैं? कितनी है उनकी संख्या? थैंक यू।
Okay, first Sudhi, I'll come to your question on, I just confirmed that yes, this particular gentleman, he is not part of the Government of India setup, he's not an employee. Beyond that, I don't have anything to share with you. Regarding people who've gone to the United States, I would say that these are members of the high-level inquiry committee that had been set up in November of 2023 to look into the inputs that were shared with us by the US, and we have been telling you that we have taken these inputs very seriously, and we remained engaged with the US side on this particular matter. 2 members of the high-level committee, they've traveled there and they've held meetings with the US side. So that is what I have to share with you. Siddhant, on Pakistan, we had, when our External Affairs Minister was to travel to Islamabad for SCO meeting, we had made it very clear, we had issued a statement that this, a press release rather, that this particular visit is for SCO head of government meeting. Beyond that, in Islamabad, you would have seen the only bilateral meeting that our External Affairs Minister had was with Mongolia. Other than that, there was some...
You were just listening to Mr. Randhir Jaiswal, who is the official spokesperson and Joint Secretary of External Publicity of the Ministry of External Affairs India. He spoke about the Canada-India row, and that was primarily the main focus, as it appears, of the press conference. He did say that there has been an extradition request for 26 people, or rather persons of interest, over the last decade or so, and also several arrest requests. And they say that there was, and he said that there was a bit of a contradiction on part of the Canadian government, because India itself had made a request to arrest the members of the Lawrence Bishnoi gang or take action against them. But on the contrary, the Canadian government was accusing India of having crimes perpetrated on Canadian soil. He also spoke of how Canada has shifted blame to India, and this sort of a contradiction doesn't particularly work, pointing out that this is a pattern that the Indian government has observed. So far, Canada has not given any evidence of its accusations levied against India. He in fact said that this pattern was motivated, it was stemming from the domestic politics in Canada, and there is a clear pattern to smear India's name on the global stage. He also said how a clear explanation why MEA thinks that these patterns are politically motivated, a clear explanation has been given by the MEA. He did speak and touch briefly upon the Singapore meeting that happened. He spoke very briefly and obliquely about it. He said that nothing particular to share there about the meeting, and that's about it as regards the meeting. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.